Oh. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Reconnect My Heart podcast. I want to tell y'all this. I am very excited today. This kind of a little intro before the show. I want to come on here to tell y'all how happy I am to be able to get someone that I've been trying to get for a number of years. Today, y'all going to be able to see the interview I have with a great guitar player. That man is bad. This is a great guitarist I've been watching for many years, many years. Matter of fact, since the 90s. And this guy right here, I'm telling you, this man is bad to the bone. This man is doctor. I'm gonna have to call him. I'm gonna have to officially document him as a doctor. This is Mr. Tori Ruffin. Mr. Tori Ruffin. He's the guitar player for Morris Day and the Time, as well as Freak Juice, and also so many other people he has played with. There's going to be a lot of information that he's going to share with us. And also, I want you to pay attention. There's a link between him and Eddie Murphy. Remember that. Remember that. Be listening very closely. He's going to tell you the link, the connection between him and Eddie Murphy. I'll give y'all a little hint. Sexual chocolate. Hey, that's it. So I want y'all to stay tuned. I want y'all to enjoy. I want y'all to just feast off the conversation I had with Mr. Tori Ruffin and know that, look here, y'all gonna see me grinning from ear to ear because he gave not just a lot of good advice pertaining to those who may want to be a musician, but also just pertaining to life. Just pay attention and focus on the information he's sharing, because I guarantee you it's going to be life-changing. So stay tuned. I want to invite each and every one of y'all to enjoy and know that this right here is going to be something that's going to blow your mind. So I hope you enjoy, and as we get ready to turn on the show, I want you to enjoy, and also, once again, thank y'all for y'all continued support throughout the years, and know that the best is yet to come. So now we're finna go on to the interview with the guitarist, Tori Ruffin. Take care of yourself and enjoy, and I'll get a chance to see y'all soon. Take care.
Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Reconnect My Heart Podcast, the show that we talk about life's problems to make break or tear our hearts apart. On Reconnect My Heart, we discuss God's answers to life's problems to reconnect our hearts back to the way He originally made us. I'm your host, Brother Prater. I'm so glad y'all able to join us. If you have any questions, comments, you just want to listen to the show, feel free to call me at 855-772-8371. Also, in case you want to see the video version of Reconnect My Heart, you can go to reconnectmyheartpodcast.com, or you can go to my mobile app, which is Brother Prater, and you see podcasts on there. You be able to see us live. I want to thank each and every one of y'all who may be watching or listening to the show, and thank you so much for your continued prayers and support. Today is a great day for this little kid right here, me. Um, I wanted to have someone that was very knowledgeable, not just about music, instruments, but about life. This young man he's played with a group called Fishbone, Freak Juice. Also, just in case, you may have heard of a group called Morris Day and a Time. Yes. Also, as well as he's also playing with JMTF, that is Jelly, Monte, Tori, and Freeze. The Time Band. Yes, we have our very own, our very special guest, Mr. Tori Ruffin at this time. How you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's good to be here with you,
Man,
brother Prater.
yes, sir,
Yeah, man.
man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for you coming up over here. And I know that you've been busy and you traveling around the world. And just thank you for even just coming on and just spend a little time with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure.
Yes, yes. Now, for those that may not know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been fortunate and very blessed to be a part of one of my childhood bands, favorite bands, Morris Day and the Time. As you know, I've been in the band for 30 years, but I'm not the original guitarist. The original guitarist is Jesse Johnson, and I was as a kid coming up. And when I say a kid, they're a few years older than me. So, you know, but those guys we all looked up to coming up as young musicians in Los Angeles. So yeah, so I feel very blessed and fortunate, to be able to make a living doing what I loved, what I dreamed about doing for the last 30 years with the time, and also working with other projects like Fishbone and some Michelle and Day cellos. We were on Arsenio Hall for about a decade, and just doing late night television in LA too. So I got a chance to hit or be a part of, anybody that was anybody in the early '90s. With Bobby Brown, Ralph Tresvant. There was some Whitney Houston's, and we were doing all that Arsenio's. You don't know, but I was doing all that Arsenio Hall stuff with my buddy Bruce Sterling, who actually put it all together. So yeah, very blessed and fortunate.
Yes, yes. Now, how did you get started with music or even being a musician?
Well, this is a true story, and it's almost unbelievable. But my grandfather was in the pharmacy business back in Detroit, and he brought over a guitar that a famous musician owed because he owed him money. So I got started in Detroit, and I grew up in a time where everything was on the radio, and that's really good to be coming up. And so, in other words, the rock and the R&B hits were on the same radio station. So, like, for example, Led Zeppelin and Isley Brothers were on the same radio station. So you heard James Brown and Stairway to Heaven. You heard Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and then you heard Stairway to Heaven. And then you heard Elton John. So there was a mix of musical influences when I was young. It wasn't as separated So having said that, we were in the basement, man, and just jamming on, and I took a liking to. I got serious about. Then my family moved to California, um, and I got serious about with it around 16 years old, and that's when I met my buddy Bruce Sterling, and we had a few. I'm kind of cutting, going fast forward because you don't want to hear every detail of my life, but we uh, we had a little fusion band, man, and so I really got serious about it at the when I was 16 years old, and it just so happened. So moving fast forward, I played a little bit, and then I went to Dallas, your hometown, and went to North Texas, stayed for a while. And my dad had a personal computer business out in North Dallas. Uh, it probably like one of the first. No, not probably. It was the first computer store ever in the United States. You can look it up, but you know, we ran into some difficulties, and I was left to my own devices at North Texas. I had only had a semester under my belt. He gave me the keys to the house and the car and said, "Good luck, son." And I lasted another 3.5 years by getting people to roommate with me and washing vans and all that stuff. But that's where I kind of learned more than E minor, because I was just a funkster right there, just love funk. And but then I kind of really started studying guitar right out of North Texas. And then moving fast forward, we played. Uh, um, I got good enough, and uh, but I was studying marketing, and but they had music classes there. So and then I found a band to play with in Dallas. That didn't work out, and then I played with a couple of people in Austin for a couple of years, and then I didn't want to play cover music the rest of my life. It was a great experience, but I was like, man, there's got to be more to it. So I went back to LA and hooked up with my buddy Bruce, and the same guys were kind of hanging around. And one of the guys that played drums for now, you can cut me off anytime you want to, but one of the guys that played
You're fine. You're
drums.
fine.
One of the guys that played drums in the band was driving around John Landis, and John Landis was doing a movie with Eddie Murphy, and he goes, "Hey man, do you know anybody that has a band? I need a band for tomorrow's scene." And my drummer Jeffrey Settle goes, "Yeah, I have a band." And the next thing I knew, after being a week back in L.A., and this is why it's so crazy. I was just so frustrated in Austin. It was a great experience, but I got frustrated. And a week after I got back, um, I found myself in a movie with Eddie Murphy, uh, uh, coming to America. I was in a band, Sexual Chocolate, and I was like, okay, this is better than playing cover tunes in the clubs. And just from then on, I started doing gigs, and then, like I said, my buddy Bruce had an idea of everybody back in the day. They needed a band. They didn't have. It wasn't machines and stuff. So much wasn't prevalent, but all the artists needed a band. There was not a lot of track dates at all. So he came up with the idea where we would rehearse the band, find the musicians for the management companies, and we ended up doing a 10-year run in late night television in LA. My buddy Bruce Sterling really set the blueprint for that. So we either played in the band, or we put together the band, and so I got a chance to be around a lot of iconic R&B guys back then. And then what happened? Um, yeah, and then fast forward, Morris came on one day, needed a band, and I loved the time. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, and I said I got to play with Morris, and then it was supposed to be a 2-week gig, and it went on for 30 years. But before then, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Cree Summer, because we had a record deal, and it was a rock project, and we had a record deal, and Cree Summer was Freddie on a different world, and you know, uh, it was in a time, they record companies for some reason or another never have really signed black artists to if they were playing rock or anything other than R&B, which is a shame because, as you know, it all comes for the blues, and brothers were the architects of that, with Sister Thornton and of course Chuck Berry and Johnny B. Good and all that. So, and like I said, everything, was on the radio together when I was coming up. So, yeah, so well, we were able to secure a deal, put out a couple records. She worked. We did a record with Lenny Kravitz too, the second one. But the first one, we went on tour and did a couple of things. She went out with Aerosmith. I was with Morris I had gotten the gig with Morris at the time, but that was another highlight in my career. So after that, yeah, I started playing with Morris, and it's been a great. We did shows. We did a tour with Prince, and that was just wild. Hanging out with the man and seeing how he worked and what kind of work ethic he had was insane. And so it's been a great and a blessed ride.
Man, I appreciate that. I got to tell you this. It's funny. I never knew that you were in Coming to America, but I remember seeing that scene. And the thing that stood out to me, it wasn't the baby blue tux. It wasn't Randy Watson. It was a left-handed guitar player. It
My
was a left.
my overacting.
Yeah, and I forgive
That
me,
was
I did not mention this. People, this young man plays the guitar. He make that guitar talk. I am a huge fan of your tone. I am a huge fan of your tone.
Thank you, man.
Nothing
Awesome.
against some of the other guitar players, but your tone is so precise. To me, your tone is the closest I've heard any other guitar player that's similar to Prince. Your I've always been a fan of Prince, especially his tones and everything, but there's only one guitar player that I've heard that was close to Prince's tone, and that was you.
I appreciate it.
There's been other musicians I've heard. There've been other, me being a musician myself, I've heard many others, but when I heard you for the first time, I instantly became a fan. And I have to give you my opinion, but it's gonna be off the air because I don't want anybody to come and
oh,
have
oh
hold
yeah,
me
you gotta be
hostage.
careful.
Yeah,
The Prince fans are Rabbit fans. They'll come.
yeah,
Well, I appreciate that's a very high compliment because Prince was the architect and the architect of this music, and yeah, I mean his virtuosity on the guitar. People are really underestimate that,
yeah,
and you see a lot of the cats that play with him, and they do the music and it's flawless. But there's that one thing missing is that I mean he used to rock that guitar. I mean
yeah,
rock it,
yeah.
and I had a chance to hear how he rocked it uh, in arenas, and it just blew my mind. I was like, okay, hands down, he's the man. But you mentioned tone, and so I've been fortunate, man, and in my wildest dreams, I never thought I could design my own guitar, and it's in store. Here's a shameless plug. It's the Freak Shoes Tori
Yeah,
Ruffin signature.
yeah,
Here's my
yeah.
shameless plug, guys. You mentioned tone, so I'll take this opportunity to talk
Yes.
about it. I'm getting this tone. Uh, really be honest, tone comes from your fingers. You know, Prince is gonna have a tone, and he's gonna whatever he plays. But I designed this thing for tone and different sounds. You know, because I play a lot of different styles. Well, jazz, funk, and rock. I don't play a lot of different styles, like three mainly. I'm a jazz nerd. I'm a funkster, and I love to rock. So what I got is the Tori Ruffin Freak Juice signature alder body, rosewood, real quickly, rosewood neck, and then got some locking tuners, man. You got a 5-way, then you got a push pull. All the push pull, that means you can split the pickups. This is a humbucker, single coil humbucker. This Pasadena Plus, you get Pasadena Classic. We got a Eric Johnson. And I love this pickup.
Wow.
But I'm on the next one. I might experiment with a different. But this is a great pickup. I loved it in his, so I just put it in mine. It was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know that. And Schecter, like I said, in my wildest dreams, it's usually reserved. You know, signature guitars are usually reserved for cats like Benson and people that sell a lot of records, and so I was blown away when I got a chance to do mine. They saw the work I was doing with Freak Juice, and then time is very visible, and so Ricky Smith has a free sickle as well. So yeah, and that we have a project called the JMTF, which is a master class. A funk Minneapolis sound masterclass, guys. So yeah, but those signatures are in the stores everywhere. You can order, and if you come see me directly, I'll get you a free case, and maybe save you some tax. I'll save you a few bucks. Talk to me directly. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, man, number one, I'm glad you mentioned that signature guitar. I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and the first thing I said was, "Finally!" You're right. You're right. Most of the time, they want people who are known, so to speak.
Yeah.
And also like you mentioned about
which I get, because it's a numbers game. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's if you're in front of a lot, if you're virtuoso, people are gonna love you, and if you're like I'm not slighting anybody, but Machine Gun Kelly but he's in front of millions and sold millions of records. So usually a signature is reserved for people like that, and so we were blown away when. And Schecter's a great company, and they know music, and I'm left-handed, and one of the guys in the higher ups is a left-hander. So the left-handers, when they do left-hand instruments, they do it right. And I mean, I've checked out everybody, else, and there's always something missing with the left-handed stuff, but they craft a left-handed guitar,
Wow.
Yeah, so Schecter's a great company. Mike Cervallo and Adam Murphy, Anthony Ramirez, me and Colin designed this. He helped me design the pickups. Colin Alphin, great guys over there. I know, and my man that sets up my strings, he's great. Yeah, Schecter's a great company.
Yes. I do have to say this real quick because you're under that Minneapolis umbrella, and it seemed like all the great musicians come from there, or have some connection.
Bootsy and the Ohio guys and Lakeside be kind of mad at you right now.
Yeah.
They came from Ohio, man. I mean, there's great music. There's great musicians all over, and but Minneapolis did bring a style of funk, that is specific, and a lot of people interpret it wrong, and a lot of people, when we coming up, it's a discipline to it, and it's really, starts with James Brown. Prince loved James Brown, Catfish, and the guitar players and Sly Stone. So a lot of that Minneapolis sound is a mixture of that with some Carlos Santana, and then of course Prince's whole influence. So, but that's what the JMTF masterclass is all about. It's focusing and giving back and really trying to show you, break down the music of Prince and the time, and show you the parts individually. We talk about the tones and the settings, and we show you how to play it, and then we show you how to overplay it. And it's all not giving it all away, but it's that's what we want. That's what we want to take around the country. The four of us, me, Monty, Jelly Bean, and Freeze, who's been in the band for over 40 years, and with Morris, and of course Jelly Bean was in Purple Rain, and of course Monty is the original member of the time. So they grew up under Prince's tutelage. They were there from the beginning. So it's real and informative class, where you can, and they of course tell Prince stories that you might, that I know you haven't heard, because so it's an interactive class. It's not just for musicians. It could be for fans of the music. If you're a Prince fan of the music and you want to get inside his music a little more, this is class for you. Kind of like a show and a class combined.
Okay.
Which hasn't been, I don't think, we did at Sweetwater, and Cameron. It's like, man, you guys set the bar for master classes, because it was entertaining as well as informative.
Yeah.
So, and usually in master classes is, this is designed for musicians, and this master class is a little different, because you get a little bit of a show, and it's entertaining. You hear stories, and it's interactive. You can ask any questions. And what we want to do also, not to be long-winded, is want to get people like yourself. We want to get them up and have them play 777 and critique you and show you what you could do better, or say, hey man, that's perfect, get off my stage before you take my job.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
Yeah. Now I want to put Prince and Morris, because I know they were always hanging out and stuff. But if you have to look at the work ethic, and that's what I've seen with you all have a work ethic, and y'all jail. I mentioned earlier that I saw a particular band that you all were with. Y'all opened for them. The closing band, the musicians were great, but there was something missing. It was like air in some areas. But when I heard you all were not only great musicians, but y'all were great team. Y'all were a great team. And of course, Morris being a musician himself, um, y'all, my gosh, y'all just in sync. Y'all beautiful. Now, what type of I say principles or advice or work ethics that you all may have picked up from Prince or Morris, or even both of them, that
Mm-hmm.
that you see that you kind of live out now?
Well, like I said, I had joined the band when I was, how was I? I was 30, 31. Um, um, so, but the work ethic principle, like you said, is really what I took away. And Morris's professionalism really made a huge impact on me, because when I was younger, after about 5 years, or maybe I'll be. This is a hot take. It is about five years into it. You're younger, and I was still getting calls like I could have rocked some other artists, some high paying gigs at the time. Because I was like, man, do I really want to play the Bird and Jungle of the rest of my life? But then I thought about it, and, I was like, man, you know, these other these other artists probably gonna be out for it. Yeah, you're gonna make much of money, but Morris Morris is an old school musician, and he likes to work, and and these other, and then I'm in an iconic band. I'm up. That's like, one of my what, so, and one of my buddies who played with Jada Pinkett said, man, those other, and he confirmed my beliefs. He's like, man, those other guys ain't gonna be working. But it's Morris, and that was the best advice that I could have gotten. But the point my point was, some shows, after about some of the shows, sometimes I didn't give. I have to be honest. I'll confess. I was like, sometimes, you know, I might have looked bored and not even gave it my all. Sometimes, just because sometimes out of, not, I don't want to use the word monotonous, but just the grind. You know what I mean? Sometimes you phone it in, like I can see what they're saying on with basketball players. But what I learned from Morris Day was, no matter if there's 80,000 or 80 people, Morris Day comes on that stage and he gives it 110,000%, and I was blown away by that, so I quickly, readjusted my attitude, and you have to realize that people don't care if you had a hard day or how many times you did the show or whatever. They want to be entertained. They pay their hard-earned money to come. So I learned just that professional. Always give 110%, dance hard, sing hard. Play as like this is your last show, because you never know, and so that, I think, just the work ethic, and Prince, from what I understand, instilled that upon them, so that trickled down to me, because the Jelly Bean and Monty used to talk about how they rehearsed for months, 8 hours a day, saying just, and everything had to be just right. So yeah, so if my advice was just, just stay professional, no matter how many people are there, work hard, be ready so you don't have to get ready, if you're a young musician, just do what, do what you really feel, and don't worry about if other people like it. But then again, be able to paint with as many colors as you possibly can, if that's your thing. Now, if you just love one thing, some people just love the blues, some people just love rock. But for me, I'm constantly trying to get better on my instrument and trying to grow. And I think at the end of the day, if you do that, you'll never get bored with the instrument or feel stuck, because you'll always have colors to paint with on your instrument. And I think that's the way to go. And I know I went around Sally's house. I don't even know if I answered your question.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I do have to bring this up. I thought about this a couple of days ago, and I totally forgot about it just a while ago. One of my favorite moments that I saw. This was when you were at the Sinbad, you and Morrison time.
Oh, that was, you saw,
Man,
yeah.
And when they played Jungle Love, and when Morris said, huh, and as soon as it said, huh, your hat went off, phew, and you went to the solo. Man, I love that scene.
Yeah, man, we were young, and we were young and firing. Boy, we were firing. Yeah, I remember that. I threw my hat out a couple of times. Just trying to give a great show, man. And man, we were on fire. I remember that. I remember that show too. It was good times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I do have to tell you, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. I do have to tell you, one of the times that you were down here in Dallas, myself and my coworker at the time, I'm gonna have to shout out to him, Dwayne Phillip Rhodes. He and I got off work. We were working evening shift, and you were going to be at Lincoln High School. Well, you and your band were going to be at Lincoln High School, and I think it was going to be at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had got up. We got off work,
Oh,
made it
that's
home
back
at
in the
11.
early days with
Yeah,
Tom Joyner.
yes, yes, yes. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Woo, those
Um,
were brutal.
yes.
Those
Look
were
here.
some brutal stuff. Early 5 o'clock in the morning, play for like 3 songs, wait for 40 minutes. Oh man.
Yes, yes. What we did, we didn't sleep. We didn't sleep that night. I made it home, took a shower, and I went on. I think if you brought some canned food, you would get in free. Well, I picked up 2 cans and I got him 2, and we were the first 2 in line. We stood there in line, and so finally a crowd came. And so when it was time for them to open up the school, they didn't open up the door where we were standing at. They opened up the opposite one. So now we were the first 2, and because they opened up the opposite one, now we the last 2. Oh
No,
man, we were
it
hot in
was
the
hot.
fish grease. But this what we did. Y'all were in the auditorium rehearsing. And so while they were in line waiting, while we were at the back, we saw that there was a side door that was open. He and I snuck in, and we saw y'all rehearsing and jamming. Also, Terry Lewis was there, and we were like, "Man, we just watch it." And there was this Hispanic guy that was walking in front of us in the way. We're like, "Man, get out the way! We're trying to watch the band." We saw you. We saw you in your groove, man. But this Hispanic guy was just in the way. So
Right.
finally, come to find out, that Hispanic guy that was in front of us, he kept walking towards the stage. He turned around and it was Morris Day. We're like, oh man. We were looking at her, and
Right.
man, y'all put on a great performance. And then I snuck into the cafeteria where y'all were at, and y'all were very hospitable, man. And so, and I got a chance to talk to Morris. We were talking about drums. We were talking about
Yeah.
drums, and
Yeah.
so,
Now,
so
what
I
do
just had
you
to tell
play
you,
guitar or drums?
both, both.
Oh, okay, right on.
I actually started playing the drums when I was 4, and my dad would give me an allowance of $5 a week. But I would save that $5 and give it to my cousins at church so I can play. My dad had found out, and he gave me $5 for my allowance and another $5 to give to my cousins so I can play. And
Oh, wow,
so and
that's
so
cool.
so I'm honored with that. And then actually with my guitar, I got it. Shucks, I got on the other end. But I bought a PV reactor. I found it at a pawn shop. And so what I did, trying to sound like Prince, I gutted out the pickups and I put them EMG single coil and I put the humbuckers on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it don't sound like Prince, but
Right.
it looks pretty. Yeah, so but for those who for those who maybe thinking about giving up on playing their instrument, you know, I'm gonna say it like this. Yes, you're the master when it comes down to playing. As a matter of fact, I do have to say this. I was on stage with you all some years ago, and yeah, I could have been dancing or whatever. But to be honest with you, I was standing beside you. I was trying to listen to your tone. I'm like, man, this dude tone is awesome. I'm looking at the pedals. I'm like, man, he got this set up. He got that set up. And I'm pretty sure people were trying to nudge me. Boy, you better dance. But look, I was
Well,
just by you, man.
yeah, my tone, like, a lot of people don't realize, what, for me, it's a nice, clean sound. And then I'm using a tube screamer and a little bit of delay. I don't have a bunch of pedals because that's where you start coloring your tone when you get all kind of fancy processing going on.
Yeah.
It's going to start to you're going to take away the tone of the guitar and the tone of the amp. And so and I really noticed this, I use a few more pedals with Freak Juice, but I'm like, yeah, man, with just going straight into a Marshall with a tube screamer, it never fails. You're not, and I have a little delay on it, and a wah wah, but those, those are not tone killers, so to
Right,
speak.
right,
It's
right, right.
pretty straight. But like when you start getting into all those exotic pedals, and I got some synths and stuff, so I've been, I like to run it for features, run it in the effects loop to clear it. But yeah, the more pedals the more pedals you have, it's gonna color your tone, and I don't care what kind of true bypass you got. It's
Yeah.
just it ain't gonna sound the same as plugging into. And Billy Gibbons, who we had the pleasure of working with, he's a guitar player from ZZ Top. Billy Gibbons, like that.
Yes,
So
yes,
Morris did a
yes.
song with him, man, and that's what he did. He plugged straight into the amp. I was like, man, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
BB King. So yeah, man. But like you said, to answer your question, now that's funny, man. Uh, when I was younger, I was we had I was in that band with Cree Summer, and then we lost the deal, and things were looking pretty blank. I had a son on the way, or he had just been born. I was like, well, I'm gonna have to throw in the towel, man. Get me a job, take care of my son. And then a publishing deal came. I was like, oh wow, and and that was six figures, and I was doing that for a while, writing songs, and then I lost a publishing deal, and then I was like, oh, here we go again, tall man, and then Morris Day happened. So my point is, I think if it's for you, if God has His hand for you to play music, you're gonna play music. Now that doesn't mean you always have to get the big gig or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's gonna be something that pulls you into music that keeps you there. And if you really truly love it, you're gonna do it. Now I say I was getting down and I was, but that, everybody gets down. And this music business is tough. It's ups and downs. You have your great years, your bad years, great days, bad days. But what you have to do is just stay positive, and if you keep your mind focused on your craft, and you really just focus on the craft and not what you think the craft can do for you. You know what I mean? Do something. Focus on the craft itself, and if you truly are one with your instrument, and that's going to show, and things are going to happen. And the mind is a very powerful thing. So if you stay positive and you want it and you pray on it, I believe good things will happen. And if it doesn't happen, you still have your craft. And that's a success in itself. And success is not about money. That's true. I've made a lot of money, and I had the houses and stuff and the cars, and then I had to make so much money, and I really learned that what makes me happy is the learning of the craft of mastering the guitar, which is it's infinite possibility. No, even a master study with somebody. And today, with all this information it should keep you on the internet. Should keep you pretty busy. You have no excuse. When we're coming up, what do we have to do? Put the record on the
Mm-hmm.
put it up. There wasn't no YouTube videos
Right,
where to put
right.
your hand. Now it's laid out for you, so you ain't got no excuse.
Yeah.
They got these online classes that are great, man. You can study with somebody online. So I mean, the world for the kids, that's why you see a lot of these kids really good at an early age too.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is a great thing. So, but don't get caught up in being the best. Be the best you could be, Make the music you want to be. Find the fulfillment that makes you tick. And that will come across, I think, to other people. And I encourage you writing songs. Uh, um, there's nothing wrong with learning cover tunes and making a living, but if be creative. I think, and because there's a ceiling to the there, but if you write a great song and people latch on, and there's no telling where that could take you. Who might like the song. So be creative, write songs. Even if you don't think they're good. It's good for your soul. So the, it, learning cover tunes is a great way to learn your instrument too. Like, I was checking out some Steely Dan the other day. I was like, oh,
Oh man,
these are great chord changes, and the solos
yeah,
on there. So transcribing that stuff is great. Uh, so that's my advice, man. But most of all, have fun. Oh, and make sure your partner believes in your dreams. There's so many partners that get latch on or whatever, but then they try and change you. So if young brothers, and sisters, make vice versa. If you're a young woman musician, make sure they understand how important that is to you. Because for me, music is just as important as breathing. Like I don't think I could. I don't think I know I'd get super depressed if for some reason I couldn't play anymore. So don't let anybody take your dream away from you. I'd say that. Put your dream first, uh, because if they love you, then they'll understand that, that this is important and they'll want to enhance that. Don't get. So, yeah, that's old man Tori Ruffin's love advice 101.
yeah. It's
And,
two songs. Go ahead, go
yeah, and
ahead.
then I know this is a Christian podcast, so definitely obviously put God first in your life, and then your dream. If you have your dream and God together, then you'll find the perfect partner.
Yes, yes. Matter of fact, when you were saying, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's so many people that have great dreams, but they link up with a nightmare.
That's
So I'm
right.
glad I'm glad you mentioned that. It's two songs that came
I've
to
seen it.
mind. You see,
I've seen it too
hey,
many times.
yes, yes,
And for some reason, and vice versa. I'm not gonna be all chauvinistic because it happens both ways. People represent themselves as someone who believes, and then all of a sudden they get you, and it's like, are you gonna keep playing that thing all night? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want that guy. You don't want
yeah,
that, kids. You don't want
yeah.
that. Run. There's other girls that women that will believe, and other guys that will, if you're a woman, will believe in your dream.
Yeah, it's two songs I thought about. The first song back in the day, if you remember Stevie Ray Vaughan, his video "Cold Shot,"
Uh huh. Hmm.
and he loved his guitar and his
Uh,
woman. Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah,
she was so jealous, and she would get the guitar and break it, and then he go behind the couch and get another one, and then another one.
yeah.
So I totally understand, and
Well,
and
see,
the,
you know what, and so you gotta have a woman, and a girl has to have a guy that has her or his own passion too. That way, if she's
okay,
busy
okay,
while you're busy, and then you guys come together, it's a great thing. But
yeah.
if she, if she, you don't want somebody all just. I don't know how we got into this, but
Yo, you
it's
cool. You
important.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Hey, look, it's about music, and what people don't understand,
Yeah.
music is a language. Musicians, we have an unspoken language that most people may not understand. You know, um, we talk about English as a second language and this and that, but music, um, I was telling somebody the other day, I learned how to play music before I was able to actually speak. So I feel
Wow.
more comfortable. I feel more comfortable playing than actually talking. If
Oh
I'm
wow. Okay.
yeah, if I'm talking to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
then you're cool. But playing, man, matter of fact,
Yeah.
I got my guitars in the bed right now.
Right.
Like, they in the bed with me. That's
Right.
probably why I'm single.
Yeah. Well, after I'm 61 now, so after I had to import one from Spain. I got a girl.
Okay,
I had to find one in Europe. She's awesome. So yeah, but yeah, I just it takes a minute. It takes a minute. Yeah, music. I mean, there's a lot of single older musicians, because it is about the language, and it's a part of you. It's a part of you. But
yeah. Well, real quick, when you mentioned Spain, I want to give a shout out. You might know this person. Give a shout out to Miko Weaver.
yeah,
Miko Weaver. Yeah.
yeah. Is Miko back in Spain?
Last I spoke with him, he was
He's
in
from
Spain.
Madrid. Where is he from?
Um,
Barcelona.
I, I,
Barcelona.
I believe California, and then he commuted to
Oh, okay.
Spain. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. But I want to acknowledge him since you mentioned Spain. Want to
Yeah,
acknowledge him.
Miko's a great guitar player.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I
yes.
don't know if I ever met him though. I have to. I don't think I ever met him, but
Oh
he's
man.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
might have
yeah,
met him once or twice. I don't know.
yeah.
If you speak to him, ask him.
Okay, okay, okay.
Maybe he'll know.
Yeah. Well, look, man, I really, really, really appreciate you, man. And, this right here, one of my, I ain't going to say, childhood dream because we close to the same age,
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Yeah, don't overdo it, Rev. Don't
no,
overdo it.
no, no, but to be honest with you, man, just being able to, I wanted to at least not only have people to know you, for also even for your the lessons individually as well as with the group. You're singing to a guitar, but also give you your flowers, man.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, man. I
I've
appreciate
seen
that.
I've seen you with the grind, and each time that I find out that y'all coming to Dallas, man, I want to at least try to support. Cause man, the time that I went on to when I met you, it was during the show. I bought your CD. I bought the CD, and you were like, "Hey, man, but you didn't have the you wasn't like treating it like a paparazzi. You treated me like a human being. You
Oh
spoke
yeah.
to me. You
Oh
you
yeah.
made eye contact with me. And of course the other band members did too. But so
Well, I
like I
know what
said,
it's
I
like to
appreciate
be
you.
on that side, man. I'm a fan too. I know. I mean, we all, like you said, we're all human. I
Mhm.
just gave I was just blessed to be able to get on stage and play the right notes. But man, I know what it's like to have a favorite band and be able to meet your favorite artist well, not that I'm a favorite, but one of the artists that you like, to that you like listening to. Then it's Morris and the day and the time they have their fan base is huge. So I get
Yeah.
it. I just feel like I'm a steward of the music. You know what I mean? Of the last 30, I'm just trying to do the music justice. That's what I try to do every time I hit the stage. I had a little lapse there, one or two shows back in the day. Somebody slapped me up and say, "Hey, man, and I'm thankful for that." But that's a learning moment. We all can grow.
Mhm.
Never think that you know everything. Never get too comfortable or complacent, because even if somebody's not as technically proficient as you as your instrument, they're going to play it different, and you're going to be able to learn something from them. And like I said, always treat people like you want to be treated. I mean, that's just the basic rule, basic common decency, which we need more of these days because that's under attack. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's another podcast for a different talk show.
Yeah. But man, I appreciate you, man. And you've, like I said, you from what
Well,
I've
I already
seen.
has, man. I cannot, any more blessings that God bestows on me would only be icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
already
yeah,
good, man. I've had a
yeah,
great run, and yeah, man, I'm just appreciative of people like you and the fans that keep showing up and giving us our flowers, man. That's all we could ask for, and we'll do our part to give you the best show possible and give it to you. So.
yeah. If you could leave, matter of fact, this is the question I wanted to ask. What would you want your legacy to be?
Well, he worked hard and tried to give love to and tried to show uh, bring people together. Really, I try to show love. I try to uh, be the best I can on the instrument and just yeah, he tried to show love and he cared about what he did for a living, and hopefully that will have inspired some people,
Yeah,
young kids around the way. Yeah,
yeah. But you definitely did,
I have to
man.
think
And
about that question, but again, to give,
yeah, you
hope
you
that's
you're
a good one.
fine. No, you're fine. Before I forget, are you still doing online classes?
Oh, well, I do teach. Like, if you can hit me up directly, yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
If I'm on Facebook, Tori Ruffin. You can Tori Ruffin on Facebook / Freak Juice Music on IG, Tori Ruffin on IG. So DM me up if you're interested in lessons, man. I'll do lessons for an hour, $50, and we'll get you straight on your guitar. We'll talk about. I used to teach at Musicians Institute, and so I have a nice little curriculum, and basically I'm gonna teach you how to fish. I won't. I'm gonna teach you how to cook. I won't cook for you. We gonna talk about the ingredients of this guitar and get all the nuts and bolts out the way, and yeah, and just give you your freedom on the instrument. But it never stops. If you're interested in some jazz concepts, I have that. If you want to get your rhythm straight, but we'll get your scales and chords, and we'll talk about going through some songs, and it'll be, and we'll get your theory right. If you're lacking on theory, we can. And it's some people get freaked out. They see a D7 flat 9 chord. It's not a big deal. So we'll talk about that and get you all straight. And yeah, it's good times. Make it fun, make it easy, make it
yeah,
affordable.
yeah, yeah. And matter of fact, it is affordable. Back in the day, I think in the '90s, the average person was paying maybe $60 for an hour, and
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like a
in
hundred.
the
It's like a
'90s.
hundred and seven. It's like 175 now or
Yeah,
125. I
yeah,
just want it
yeah,
affordable.
yeah,
Yeah, I want
yeah,
to get you on your way. I want some serious guys. Serious cats. And beginners are fine too. But yeah, hit me up if you're serious and you want to. Or just take your plan. If you want some insights. If I can help you, I would definitely will. I'm sure
yeah,
I can.
yes. Well, Dr. Ruffin, man, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
This has definitely been great, and look forward to seeing you. Not just seeing you online, of course, but you will be coming to Dallas December the 13th. That's for those that are interested. That's on a Saturday, December the 13th, in Grand Prairie, Texas. They will be in town. They will be in town with Evelyn Champagne King and a group y'all may know about, the Eisner Brothers.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be hot.
y'all might know about them.
I used to
Yeah,
listen to him when I was a kid on the radio.
yes, yes. And matter of fact,
Shotgun
yeah,
and
I
fight the
heard,
power.
yeah,
Oh my God.
and I heard, Ernie Isley was the music director at his church.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So I'm gonna verify that, but I heard that I was like, wow. But we all grew up in church, you know.
That's right.
But man, I appreciate you, man. This young man took our time to spend some time with us, and we're very appreciative. We're not gonna hold him hostage. We're not gonna hold him hostage, man. But
I
man,
appreciate you calling me young.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, look at anybody younger than Methuselah, they're young. Yeah, but man, I appreciate you, and I want to thank you, and I want to tell Reconnect My Heart family. This has been a pleasure, and I want to make sure for those who are interested and serious about getting some lessons, I'm gonna have his information tagged into this episode, and in case y'all can't find it or whatever, y'all welcome to get in contact with me for serious inquiries only. And just know that this young man, he puts his heart into everything, and also want to send a shout out to Mr. Smith, Mr. Ricky, Mr. Ricky.
Ricky Smith,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Has he done the show yet?
No, I did reach out to him now. A couple of years ago, I did communicate with him,
Okay.
and he was letting me know that his guitar was going to be coming out, and so
Okay.
now it's out. I'm gonna have to look here. I might have to palm a gold tooth to get y'all your guitar and
you
his
got color
guitar.
guitar.
Yeah, yeah. I look here. I got about 11 of them, but I need yours
you
and
need two
his.
more. You need two
Yeah,
more.
I
Mine
gotta
and
have
Ricky's.
two. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I go look. I go to the blood bank. It'll be all right. I go. But
Oh, and
once again,
keep
I
an eye
thank
out for JMTF guys too. That's the Minneapolis Sound Workshop Masterclass. We're working on bringing that to you next year, or I mean, as soon as, or if you want it tomorrow, we give it to you tomorrow. But we're working on getting that up and running in more cities. We just did it the Sweetwater music store, so, and it was a resounding success. Go online and JMTF on Facebook. You can check that out. Instagram and read some of the reviews. So check that
yes,
out, guys. Yes.
yes,
And Pastor, we appreciate you, man, and you keep up the good work, man. This is an awesome podcast. I really had a great time chopping it up with you and sharing my experiences. And, it was really good. Reconnect my heart. I love it.
yes, yes. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much, and I thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in, and thank you, thank you, thank you for listening to Reconnect My Heart podcast. God bless you, and
God
good
bless you.
night.
All right. Good night.
Now,